Introspect, take a sec, watch it step, where you step, when you step, falling free through the sky, feel the breeze, feel the eye, all your fears, let them die, energy never lies, introspect, take a second, let your world unfold.
I don't know. Anywho.
So that's what old boy is coming with.
But you live to fight another day.
See, I did it earlier this time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like waste time. We 4 minutes in, but it's all good.
Like
Welcome.
12 minutes in last time.
Yeah, last week was not last week. A couple weeks ago, it was bad. Anyways, welcome to Let Them Speak, episode 12. I am your host, Cecil, along with my good buddies, Osahan and Abraham. If you're listening to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts right now, we appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube right now, we also appreciate you. Yes, we've been gone. Got some questions about, where you at? But took a little hiatus. It's been a lot going on, obviously, as you can see. But we are back on this podcast grind. So we appreciate you guys supporting and listening. I'll do it. So before we get into anything, we do know that this COVID thing should be taken seriously. We do know that there's a lot going on in the world when it comes to civil rights and sickness and sports and all that stuff. And I know a lot of you guys will have questions because on the graphic, the graphic of this podcast, the episode cover, it has a link, or it's going to say to donate. Tap on the link in our bio to the Neazer family. And it is there because of the fact that a close friend of mine's passed, and due to COVID. And I can share this because it's public news anyway. I mean, obviously the news has been traveling across the country, so it's not gossip for those who want to be idiots. Anyways, he died to COVID. A week before he passed, him and his wife found out that she was pregnant with their first child, and they have been trying for 5 years. And so God was able to bless them with a child. Unfortunately, this disease took his life. He was fighting hard. I had the pleasure of going up there right before he passed to pray and really come and support. But it does suck. It is definitely something that, to be honest, it's still a lot to process. So amidst with everything else going on, we definitely need time to reset. But nonetheless, we're back. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. Is there still grief? For sure. But we want to make sure that we are able to bring light, still bring entertainment, bring joy the best way we can, but also still be honest with the stuff that is going on in our world today. So if you want to donate, the link will be in our bio. Please, please, please donate. It means the world to the family and to Christiana. The goal, I believe, is 100,000. We're halfway there, about over 50,000. There's been so many people that have donated across the country. The story, of course, has hit news stations and so forth. There's been celebrities that have donated. Shout out to like DJ Mustard, who donated like 5 racks to this and many more. So if you want to donate, the link will be in our bio, and it will be amiss of me if I didn't acknowledge that. And please, please, please take it seriously. I hate the fact that there's a saying of, it don't get real unless it hits you or hits the personal bubble or your family. I hate it with a passion, because my thing is, just take it seriously from the get-go. Like, there is no let's wait and see, or I think it's a myth. Like, just take it seriously. A death is a death. So because the fact that people are dying and you still saying, oh, I don't know, that's troubling for me. Like, that's scary at the fact that people still have that mindset. So take it seriously. At best, stay inside. The risk right now is way more greater than than the reward, it looks like. And when it comes down to it, just stay safe, because obviously this thing is taking lives. and you don't want to put yourself in any situation where you even have to even go through a process of that. That is anxiety enough. That's stressful enough. So I encourage people, be smart, stay inside, wash your hands, wash your face. And I don't say that as a joke. Like, seriously, wash your face, wash your hands, and make wise choices during this time, even if you're traveling. I know for me, I had an opportunity to travel. I canceled it because I didn't feel peace. And that's just where I'm at. So appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Please donate. We want to make sure that Christiana does not have to lift a finger and she's able to finish school to be a nurse. That's what she was in school for. We don't want her to go and try to work or anything like that. We want to make sure that all our bills are paid and the baby will be secure with everything that he or she may need as well. So appreciate that. Now.
Hey, hold on. Let me throw this in real quick. Because Mike is the second person I knew personally who's passed.
Yeah.
Every number is a name.
Yes.
So for people who look at the numbers and say, well, it's no worse than the flu in terms of numbers, and they want to use numbers to justify why, you shouldn't take it seriously, remember, every number is a name.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's affected a lot of people. Whether you knew Christiana or just knew Mike, it affects me deep just because Mike was a person that he would check on me. As everybody knows, I do have a son, and during that time, the mother of our child was pregnant. Literally, he would be so timely in checking up on me and sending me texts and calling and asking, like, hey, I just want to make sure you ain't going crazy. I just want to make sure you're going, and this is coming from a brother that at the time did not have kids, but wanted some. So it took a lot of strength and courage, and I admire him for that, for even checking on people who, like me, who was about to be a father, and for him to do that, that said a lot about him. There's not a lot of bad things. There's no really bad thing you can really say about him. He was a helper. He was a gentle giant. He was a person that, such a protector, like very soft-spoken, always laughing, always having a good time. But if you come in the midst of anything that he cares about or cherishes, he definitely will protect it. Like, he was ready, like, at all times, and that's just the type of man he was. He went to our church and served well. He was just a good dude, had no health issues, and a lot of people think, well, if you have underlying issues, that can also affect things too. True. But there's been people that have died to this disease who was healthy as an ox, and there's no reasoning, there's no explanation. And so it's just, you got to take it seriously. It does suck. It hurts still. But at the same time, because we're called to do what we do as creatives, as podcasters, as whatever field that we're in, even people that are connected to him outside of this podcast, whoever you are, you're still called to uplift people. And I think that's the biggest thing Mike would want, is to still affect people like how he did with others, through conversations, through phone calls, through timely texts. One of the things that I said at his vigil, that I was thankful to be at and be a part of and help, was he was timely. Like, he was never out of order when it came to helping people, praying for people, or just giving himself to helping. If you called him, he would pick up and he was there. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts. And he was so timely. And that's the biggest thing for me that I appreciate about him, was he was one of the most timeliest people when it came to looking out for somebody or checking in on somebody. And I know he would just want people to continue to change other people's lives, continue to affect other people, continue to be there for people in a timely manner. Don't just look at somebody on the road, on the wayside, for lack of better terms, and you see them suffering or struggling or kind of confused about something. Reach out, call, text, even as simple as, like, hey, how you doing? Say it. But no, I love Big Mike, as we all do. He was a gentle giant, and it really sucks that he's gone. It's hard to still picture or actually realize that he's gone. But our prayers and condolences to Christiana, to her family, even her parents, Mike's parents, and this baby that's going to come into the earth, it is still, this is a God-given miracle. This is, by God's design, and, the baby will be protected. The baby will be healthy. The baby will be protected, and not just hoping or wishing, but we are confident that this baby will be supported by a community that loves Christiana and loves Mike. So we're grieving with them, and we'll definitely be raising this money to make sure that, again, she does not have to lift a finger or stress, because Mike was that much of a protector over his wife. He handled everything. And we just want to make sure that we're able to honor him by, perfectly doing the same for the family. So just wanted to get that out the way before we tackle all the tea or the news or whatever. It's been a minute. It's been, a couple weeks. So happy Friday to those who are listening. So let's just get into it. I don't know if you guys want to start with music. Yes, the baby registry. It will also be in the link in our bio too. So it'll definitely be there for the baby registry. It'll take you to Amazon. There's some items there that you can get. And again, there's been so many people that's been supporting so far. Definitely need more help, and it'll definitely take a village to get all that done, and it will get done. I firmly believe it. We're halfway there to 100 grand, and we're over 50. I think it's like 52 or 53 to be exact, $1,000 that's been raised. And so, just keep giving, keep sowing, keep praying. And shout out to Christiana, who did have a birthday recently. And we just want to say, publicly and in using our platform responsibly, that we love you, we appreciate you, and we're there with you and praying for you as well. All right. Kanye West. No, I'm just playing. Do we want to start there? I guess we can just start there. To get all the serious stuff out the way. So Kanye to the West. And I know people have joked. People have, made their comments in the past of his breakdowns and stuff, but this is serious. It's nothing to laugh at anymore. I know you guys have seen it, and I know you guys have seen multiple outlets and stuff like that. I know we've talked about it in the chat. I want to know what's your reaction. Don't hold back now, because I know it's a lot. So take it away, boys. Take it away, fellas.
Oh man. Okay. Season 1 of this podcast when the Jesus King album dropped.
Yep.
I think that was our most listened to episode. And I had some, I think, strong viewpoints. For reference, Cecil, I think, was the only person on that podcast episode who liked the album, right? So Cecil, respect to you for sticking to your guns. But I said this. So number one, seems that people care more about the music that Kanye was putting out. Heard a lot of Christians who were excited to finally be able to play Kanye in church, right? And they were guilty about it. Mm-hmm. More than they cared about Kanye's actual soul. I think people were more excited to get a new mascot for the faith than they were Kanye as a person. And so what my statement was on that episode was, I honestly don't care about the album. As far as Kanye standards and artistry, it was But what I was interested to see, I said this is back in, I don't know, was that November or October, whenever that album dropped?
Yeah, it was like
October. I think it was October. So what I'm interested in is the long haul, and that people really pray for this man in the long haul, because what's coming is going to be very difficult. And so he needs people around him, because the space Kanye was walking into, when you look at it versus the space that his family is in, we're talking about the Kardashians, the Kardashian Jenners. Those are two opposite worlds. And so there were going to be some moments where Kanye would say some things or is going to say some things, and we've now seen it come to pass, that will be starkly at odds. And so I said the key figure to watch for is Kim, and watch the dynamics between Kanye and Kim's relationship, because Kim comes from a space where she has a momager who manages that entire family.
A momager. Nice.
Kanye ain't the one to be managed by anybody, right? Yeah. We've since heard the moniker Kanye, okay? So what we are seeing now is the manifestation of it. Is the manifestation of Kanye and the underlying mental health issues that he does have, the trauma that he has still bubbling up, and people who care more about Kanye's platform and care more about getting him in front of a mic as opposed to him as an actual person. So on the one hand, yeah, don't be surprised at the things that you hear him say. By this point, if you were still reactionary when you hear him say certain things, you're missing the point. Not to say that, not to excuse away the things that he says, but you can't just be reactionary at it. But you need to listen to the thing under the thing when he's saying some of the things that he's saying. And so my hope, I said this, I really do worry about the guy. I really do worry about him, because I know the joke out there is that there's a Kardashian curse, but let's just be honest. What man who is married into that family has come out or has come out in their right mind? Not near
one.
Single one.
Bush,
okay?
What's the dude from New Jersey Nets? No, I mean Brooklyn Nets.
Chris Humphries. Chris Humphries. We can go down Lamar Odom. We can go down the list. And
Harden,
so, honestly,
in a way.
Yeah. And so I think Kanye was the right one. To try it.
You want to try me? Bet.
Try me. And so legitimately, I worry about the man. Now, I don't agree with people just platforming. Yeah, like he's running for president, egging him on. Right. It's like gassing up the.
You see the dysfunction. Like you're gassing.
You see the dysfunction. You're gassing dysfunction.
A crap show.
Right, because now it's a distraction for the dysfunction in your life and all the things going on.
Yeah.
So I really do worry about him. Yeah, no, I don't agree with most of the things that he says, but I legitimately worry for him. And what we are seeing on display, as we have seen, folks, let me just paint the bigger picture for you. It's no coincidence in the times that we are sitting in that people are capitalizing and being entertained and distracted by the dysfunction and the trauma of Black folks. A couple weeks ago, we saw Will and Jada, and now entanglement is a joke, and Will Smith is now the butt of a lot of jokes, and that man is hurting deeply. Yeah. Now we see Kanye, and folks are railing off on his comment about Harriet Tubman not freeing the slaves, which was, yes, it was an out-of-pocket comment. And his comments about, almost being aborted and North almost being aborted and all of those things. And now his ramble on Twitter over the past 24 to 48 hours at the time of this recording. But that dysfunction, once again, is a distraction and entertainment for people. While we are in the middle, don't forget, folks, Black lives still matter. We are in the middle of an uprising. So Black folks, do not allow this to be a moment where you continue to perpetuate the dysfunction and the trauma that's plagued our people for so long, because this is a part of the process as well. What good is it for us to get social equality when internally as a community we are still a cluster and a mess?
Yeah.
Absolutely. For me, simply, it's just that. Look, it's simply this. This man is going through it. He's hurting. He definitely needs help. But some of the stuff that he's saying, I'm not, aside from the Harriet Tubman comments, but some of the other stuff he says, I wouldn't doubt if they're true. I mean, we look at what's going on in the world right now. You look at all the issues that are occurring. Like, first of all, we have a pandemic going on. We also have protests going on because, as Osa said, Black lives do matter. Thank you very much. We have child trafficking cases going on. We have sexual assault cases going on. We have so many different things going on right now that it's so easy for people to pick and choose which ones they want to focus on. And then in Kanye's case, like also mentioned, he's a distraction at this point. He's being perceived as a distraction. But some of the stuff he says, I wouldn't doubt it if it's true. I wouldn't doubt it one bit. But don't just dismiss him as like, oh, he's just some raving lunatic. He's a man that needs help. First, he's a man that needs help. And I've said it since his mom passed. He changed ever since then. His whole life changed. And, when you suffer a loss like that, you go through grief. And when you enter that stage of grief, a lot of things can happen, from positive to negative. And for the most part, most people tend to move towards the negative aspects of grief, whether they get involved with drugs, alcohol, women, gambling, different vices. In my opinion, Kanye never properly addressed that grief. And I'm not saying that all his flings and everything they were negative influences on him. I can't say that, because that would just make it seem as if all his life has been negativity. But he did not approach grief the right way. He did not get the true help he needed, and it allowed him to continue down in this downward spiral. Now, however, with his turn to Christ, we're trying to see, well, not that we're trying to see, but what we are starting to see is his cries for help, his desire to find help. And he's doing that. He's putting his faith in God. No issues with that. Not at all. When you listen to that God is King album, there's one song, I think it's the one with Uncle Frederick, where he mentions Ephesians. He talks about how people only pay attention to the first part of Ephesians, which talks about what you need to do. Thank you for being a Christian. Thank you for being righteous. But then the second half is like, hey, that doesn't mean turn your back on other people now. That doesn't mean that you believe you're better than they are. So he needs help. He clearly does. And I feel for him to an extent. And it's just, it's a crazy situation. It really is. The way it's spun by different people. I mean, there's different stances anybody can take from it. It's just like, wow, at the end of the day, don't let it distract you. Don't let it be a distraction to all the other stuff that's going on. You can pay attention to multiple things at once. Come on, let's be real. Everybody does it. Multitasking, everybody does it. You can pay attention to multiple things at once. Don't start dismissing or prioritizing certain situations just because it makes you feel better. Yeah. I mean, Osan and I were talking the other day saying that, and you know what? Also stop me if you need to, but what we were you know where I'm going with this. So it especially comes down to the church, and I've had some misgivings about the church the last couple months, really, since the protest started, is the ease at which individuals from church, generalize, say all churches, but there are a good number of individuals from churches who put their focus more on the events that they don't need to be held accountable for, such as the Wayfair situation, the child trafficking situation. Us as individuals, there's nothing really we can do. All we can do is say, I'm going to pray for a better situation. I'm going to pray that justice is brought about. That's all we can do. But when it comes to the topics of the pandemic or the protests, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, no. Now you're asking me to actually do something. Because at that point, you can't just say I'm going to pray on it. When it comes to pandemic, you have to put on a mask. You have to social distance. Those are actions that you have to hold yourself accountable for. When it comes to the protests, you actually have to think about, my mindset, my rhetoric, does that reflect the ignorance people are protesting about? Am I actually making a difference? Am I coming off as ignorant, insensitive, as racist, or am I good? And even if I am good, am I doing enough to help uplift the Black community and other communities of color? Now that requires action. That requires you to actually do something. You can't just say, I'm gonna pray on it and keep it pushing.
But these are, but the things you're referencing to, though, deal with really three things that this nation was built on and that have now seeped into the fabric of the church space. And for those who would say, "Why are you guys bashing the church?" This isn't bashing the church. Okay, if the church is the bride of Christ, every bride before she walks down the aisle needs to do a check and make sure that everything is in order. The makeup looks right, that there's no spots or tears in the dress, that everything fits right. So we're doing it up right now.
And ain't no perfect church. We got to really identify what's bashing.
Perfect.
Because anytime you put your mouth on a church, now people want to say, "Oh, you're bashing our church," or "You're bashing the body of Christ." And when really in actuality, there might be some people that actually say, "Hey, because we're not a perfect church, we're able to point these things out." So I people need to miss me with that whole bashing. Like,
and also, listen, I'm willing to look in the mirror just the same, because we have all at one point, if not are currently, a part of the problem. So
exactly.
3 things that this nation is built on: rebellion, defiance or questioning of authority, and rugged individualism. Rebellion, hello, Declaration of Independence. Questioning of authority, hello, they said, "Nah, we're not dealing with this king anymore."
You say yes, I say no.
We're not doing. We're going to question everything that he says and does. And if you read the Declaration of Independence, a great outline of that. The reason the Constitution is framed the way that it is swinging the pendulum the other direction from what the colonies had endured under under British rule. And the last piece being rugged individual. Shout out to Alexis de Tocqueville, great French writer who wrote about American rugged individualism, right?
Yeah.
So things you referenced, Abe, I'm going to speak out about. And once again, this can be a both and. It doesn't have to be an either or. I don't have to stand. I don't have to neglect social justice to pay attention to child trafficking and sex trafficking. It's a both and. Okay, justice is justice. But it's easy for me to say Wayfair's evil, the Hollywood establishment is a bunch of pedophiles, and all of that. But when you tell me to say Black Lives Matter or to wear a mask, which requires me to think more about the community as opposed to myself as an individual, I'm going to buck and I'm going to kick back against it. Why? Because you're threatening now me as an individual. And the church is not based on individualism, but it is a very communal faith. It is central. Community is central to who we are. So for me to ignore and say, "Listen, I've never experienced racism, so this Black Lives Matter thing, maybe it's an exaggeration," right? Or to say, or systemic racism is a myth. Or to say, this pandemic is a hoax. It's no worse. The numbers are no worse than the flu. Is to ignore the communal nature and responsibility that we have. So just because you have rights doesn't mean you can be irresponsible. And that's where we've fallen into. It's into a space of allowing our rights to make us irresponsible. And in being irresponsible, we now neglect to rob Peter to pay Paul, essentially. When it can be a both and. Yeah. It can be a both and. Beautiful picture. I'll give a beautiful picture in the scriptures. Jesus is I think a week before his death. As Mary comes in, begins to wash, his feet with her tears and dry them with her hair and applies expensive perfume. And Judas says this. He says, Judas is indignant. He's upset. "Jesus, we could have taken that money that she spent on the perfume and spent it on the poor. Jesus, we don't need to worry about about you right now. No, we need to worry about the poor." And Jesus says this: "The poor you will have with you always." There will always be opportunity. It is a both and. But right now, Mary is focused on something, and Mary has brought attention to something, a la my future death, and helping prepare me for that. So what are the things that you're looking at and ignoring because you say, "Well, this thing is more important"? You're saying, like Judas, "Listen, this thing is more important." And some of you are going to hear me say Judas and say, "Are you saying I'm a backstabber?" No, but I'm saying that your focus is misplaced. It is a both and. Justice is justice. And as long as we allow ourselves to be led by God and to have a balanced perspective of how we look at what's going on in our world today, we will be in a better place. So bride, check your dress, check your makeup,
check your dress, check your material, check the fabric. You got to check these things.
Check it all.
I'll just say this before we move on. to those who, dang, y'all like when mute when I talk, huh? When I'll say this to those who are saying, man, give Kardashian her flowers, man. She's holding the house down, while Kanye going crazy and she's taking care of everything while Kanye is da 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 da. Y'all got to be the most delusional people I've ever heard to say some stuff like that. Give her flowers. First off, if my spouse is going crazy, I am getting my spouse out of the limelight or out of whatever platform. I'm yanking them off and say, hey, babe, let's go in the back. Let's talk, or let's find you some help. That's holding somebody down. You cannot tell me that Kim is holding this man down by taking the kids away or I don't know, whatever Kanye was saying as far as like, locking him away from the kids, all this stuff. Miss me with the whole like, she's holding it down. No, she's not. And let's just be honest. I'm gonna be really honest. They probably don't give a crap about Kanye. They used him for his money. You married this man because he has money, he has some sort of status, got you a couple of kids, and now, because you got kids now, that's inheritance. So no matter what he does, that's money flowing. So now nobody's hearing from you. Kanye's doing all this stuff. These tweets are every 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. And you're sitting here trying to protect everything else but Kanye. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. So the whole thing as far as, Kim and the Kardashian family, they're trying to do their best they can. No, they're not. Because if this man is part of your family, which by default he is, because he married Kim and has been married to this girl for a pretty long time. Let's not sleep on how long they've actually been married. The fact that you're not holding your spouse down and say, okay, he's talking crazy. Let's go get him. None of you guys have came to his rescue and say, hey, let's go get him. None of them.
Momager.
Even Kanye's like, the Kanye tweeted.
Big Chris with the big K.
Kanye tweeted Chris, was like, hey, yo, can we talk? On Twitter. Yo, can we talk? So, yeah, go ahead. I see Abraham.
I mean, the thing is, it's no secret that I don't care how you want to sugarcoat it, call a spade, but simply is Chris pimped out her family.
Oh, yes.
That is
sex tapes and
there's
all.
There's no way anybody can look at it and say, no, that's not what it was. No, she pimped out her family to success.
You use sex tapes, clothing lines, and some rinky-dink perfume to make money, to use black men. And then when you find somebody who has that much celebrity status like Kanye, you want to keep him around and let him go crazy? When you see the signs, you see it all. And the sad thing that really, exactly, when you the real thing that pisses me off though is the fact that this is a man, he wants to change. He has been open and public about the fact that, hey, I want to change. And let me just bring people into the reality of people who go through mental illness and mental health issues, because I have close friends that creative and as genius as they want to be, but they have a little bit of issues and you have to check up on them. When you are in your right mind, you're in your right mind. You know what you're doing, all this stuff. But when you let anxiety and stress and just your mental issues take over, it is hard to get out of that, or it's hard to snap out of that by yourself. So to put perspective on this, when Kanye is going through his manic episodes and he has these things, if you put yourself in his shoes, it's hard to come up out of that. You need people to yank you and say, hey, man, hey, you good? Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Hey, let's talk. And the fact that he doesn't have those people is really the problem. Yes, we get it. Kanye is messed up. He says some off things. So I'm not saying none of it's his fault. Of course, there's some blame to cast on him. But when it comes to yanking him out and caring about his actual heart and where his mind is at, the Kardashians don't do it at all. So I don't want to hear, oh, they've been holding him down. No, they have not. They have not cared one iota about this man who's giving them everything. So, and people, well, he's a celebrity, and why do people care?
Iota. He's serious. He's serious.
Boy, look at him using the words.
I don't even know how to spell iota. But look, the thing is that, and people want to try to separate things like, oh, like, he's a celebrity. Why do people care? Because I'm taking celebrity out of it. This is still a human. Like mental illness is real, especially during this time. It is a real thing. Manic episodes are a real thing. And if you're not going to care about a person enough to yank them out, then don't be around them at all. I don't care how much money they got. Like, people have to take that seriously. And people are either, they're having this perspective of respecting Kardashian to that much, like, and acting like they're doing a whole lot, or they're making fun like this is a routine episode. Like, hello, the fact that it is a routine episode, it's a problem, a serious problem. And the fact that if Kanye is using this as a marketing ploy, then it's still wrong. But if that's what he's doing, then you still need to say, hey, man, I noticed some stuff been going on, man. How are you doing? Shout out to Dave Chappelle, who actually flew out there recently, this week, and just to hang out with him. Sometimes you just need people present. And Dave Chappelle is a real one for just going out there and like, hey, man, let's. And Kanye looked way better than what he was doing, just the fact that he was there. And that's an example of somebody saying, hey, I don't care about your gifts or what you do. Let me see how you're doing. And as creatives, since, this is our little craft factory bubble, as creatives, when you are gifted and you have many, many talents, sometimes it is easier to depend on what you do instead of who you are. It is much easier to, rely on your gifts and what you do instead of actually articulating who you are as far as identity, for identity purposes. And it's much easier for people to accept what you do and not really accept who you are. Like, that's just the reality of what creatives, like what we go through. And that ensues a lot of mental breakdowns, a lot of anxiety attacks. Stress can happen. Why? Because now we are not even focused on who we are. We rely heavily on everything that we do, our gifts, our podcast, everything. But when you don't have people to yank you out of that mud, to yank you out of that darkness, it's hard for you to see it yourself. So I need people to actually understand, like, Kanye can't see it as much as he wants to change. He wants to change. It's been public. But when you are by yourself and you're having these manic panic attacks and these episodes where you're just talking crazy, it's hard for you to see or to tell yourself, hey, I need to snap out of it, because you're in it. So I look up to, not now, but I used to look up to Kanye. Kanye is one of my favorite artists, favorite producers of all time. This dude's a genius, a mastermind when it comes to music. And even there's some stuff that I will say as far as life, that he can drop jewels and he's wise in certain areas. But when it comes to just the mind, people have to understand what the layers of that, and the fact that since his mom has passed, he misses his mom. And that has caused a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff to be revealed, around his life. So I just wish people have better sensitivity with that and actually be mature about this and look at stuff from all angles, because this is serious. It's not a joke. And we got to actually, like, hold the Kardashians accountable. They have, like Osan said, ruined like people's careers. And if they haven't ruined, it's been almost attempted to, like Harden. Harden, I think, got out at the right time. Like, he almost got too deep. And then
He was the prequel to Get Out.
he was the prequel. Like, they almost got him. You know what I'm saying? And, Lamar Odom was in it. Reggie Bush, Humphreys. Like, they go after black men with money, and they take advantage. And then they're not held responsible or accountable for the damage that they have caused mentally and verbally. It's a serious thing, So hopefully, I pray Kanye gets help. I pray Kanye surrounds himself with a new circle. Even people like Dave Chappelle, like, who's just be present. And sometimes people need that. So I really hope this could be a turning point. I'm still looking forward to the album. I don't care what nobody says. I'm still looking forward to it. I'll listen to it. I will definitely critique if it's good or bad, from an honest artist standpoint, and we'll go from there. But as far as his mental state, it has to be addressed. It has to. And that's just what it is.
The mixing on this album better be better than it was on Jesus King. Okay?
Dre, you better do your thing, bro.
Don't. Kanye's either the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Academy Awards for the act that he's put on in the past few years, or he's legitimately a man with deep trauma since the passing of his mother.
Yeah.
I mean, 808s and Heartbreak came out right after his mom passed, okay? Not even a year later. Like, Come on, folks. So it's either or. Either way, still pray for Ye. And yes, all three of those things rhymed, but I did not do it on purpose.
Well, at least he won't be able to ditch or go to the Bahamas. So, speaking of Bahamas, Bahamas are banning people from the United States from going there, pretty much. So you got to probably find another vacation spot.
They like, look, if you from the UK,
Y'all got that Rona,
Canada,
we out.
just show me proof. If you from the US, oh nah, you know what? How about you wait over there? Wait at customs. We'll get to you when we get to you. I'm like, look, you got to take care of business. I ain't even bad at it.
They said, nah, that ain't it, chief. I'm beginning to think a lot of these things are kind of, a big cold shoulder, not to us necessarily as a nation, but really more so to the president. That's what I'm beginning to think it is.
Oh, yeah. Everything's to the president. I've had a friend that called the other day. It was like, yo, Greece. I have a friend in Greece that called me and was like, yo, what is going on over there? Like, everybody don't want nothing to do with the United States right now. Like,
I think that's what people do. Yourselves a favor, listeners. Go ahead and look up, Google the headlines in regards to the United States in newspapers and media outlets in other countries. It will shock you and surprise you to see those things. You'll see some things and think, dang, that's the same way we talk about North Korea. That's how they talking about us.
Just having a party.
Get some perspective. Yeah, get some perspective.
Right, yeah, well, so Bahamas is shutting us down. I wouldn't be surprised if other countries do the same thing. Like, if this thing keeps spiraling out of control when it comes to the Rona and all the civil rights issues, because let's just be clear, it's not just COVID. They're actually paying also attention to the civil rights issues that we're having right now too. So,
uprising.
Listen, they are like, all right, like, all right now, keep on.
So they flooded the streets. Easy, no issues. No people saying, hey, what about COVID? Y'all shouldn't be doing that. Because of which is a whole nother issue, the recent increases, because, California got put on lockdown again. Some people are saying, oh, that's because of them protests.
Yeah.
Not at all. Don't put that blame on people protesting and being safe while they're protesting. Put that blame on all the Karens and Kevins and Kennys. Well, I can't say Kenny, but Kens that, shout out to Kendrick Lamar and Kens that are like, hey, I can't breathe. The audacity to even say that statement because you have to wear a mask, the audacity. But that's what's being said. So no, let's be real. America is heavily touted. We're a superpower by all means. Yes, we are. But the way that other countries view us, oh man, y'all be surprised. It'll be a reality check for a lot of people. Yeah. A reality check for sure.
We'll see. Because I think other countries is gonna, like I said, follow suit. It's gonna get worse. I feel like when it comes to the government. As far as making, final laws and different things like that. Because in order to get to a certain destination, you got to go through a process. And it may be ugly. And I don't think it's hitting its ugly phase yet when it comes to getting stuff the way it needs to be or just even making a step right now. Because it seems like they're having a hard time realizing that racism is an issue. So hopefully they'll get it together. Rest in peace, John Lewis, Georgia representative, has passed away. That is obviously bad news, but, there is good news. With that, Senator Nikema Williams, is replacing him on the Georgia November ballot. This is the first black woman to lead a Georgia Democratic Party, so that is huge when it comes to African Americans and just women, period. Women do not get a lot of love in a lot of areas, and I know we've been heavy on that with a lot of our recent podcasts when it comes to even the WNBA issues with their treatment and how they're treated. It has been atrocious. And so shout out to Miss Williams. I'll say Miss Williams for being involved and being in the Georgia Democratic Party. I think that's huge. Black Planet is coming out of
hold hold on. Before let's not forget as well, CT Vivian as well, the Reverend CT Vivian.
Yes.
Yeah, who passed as well. So between him and John Lewis, those are some major titans from the civil rights movement, guys who are on the right and left hand of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
So today, you literally between those two and Ralph Abernathy, those guys held the brother down. Those were the circle. Listen, Kanye, get you a circle.
They
like
was in the circle.
Ralph Abernathy
Listen.
and John Lewis. Okay, what they endured for the fight for equality in this nation. So don't let the RIPs from certain people that you're hearing today make you think that everything was cushy and that people really liked these two gentlemen back in the day. Okay, some of these RIPs are merely just public displays, performative condolences. Some of these people throwing out RIP,
yeah,
if they were either alive back then or still remember back then, were people on the other side throwing bricks and stones and fighting for segregation as opposed for equality. So yeah, don't let the pleasantries fool you. It hasn't always been nice.
And we're not saying that people can't change and mature and grow. That's definitely a possibility. But don't let yourself be naive and think that, oh, everybody definitely grew out of whatever ignorant shell that they've been living in. Sometimes it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So,
yep.
R.I.P. CT Vivian, John Lewis.
CT Vivian, John Lewis was amazing men, helping, creating change, leading the way, and even to their death, still was out there, still being a voice, still talking to somebody. There little kids now that know about him, and little kids wanting to meet him, meet John Lewis, even himself. So, yeah, rest in peace, rest in heaven to them. May their legacy live on, and may we just follow in the footsteps, especially during this time, in creating and being innovative with the resources and the technology that we have. So, moving on, Black Planet, which I ain't never been on Black Planet, but
boo this man.
People,
nah, for real, Black Planet was before my time too.
It was before my time.
My first was MySpace.
No, there's no way, Cecil. You're not that much younger than me.
But I ain't never been on it.
I
think I knew about it. But I don't think I've ever been.
Wait, how old are you, Osan?
I'm 33.
Oh,
how old are you,
I'm
Cecil?
29.
Oh, I guess.
So you missed
the progression from Black Planet to MySpace. That was the evolution.
I blinked out.
Really?
Thanos fingers.
I came in at MySpace, and that's when I had to make my.
At what level of MySpace did you come in though? At what point?
It was the point where
we started designing our own web pages. When we had top 5 and top 8.
I was there.
Oh yeah, no, I was in for that. I just had to keep mine on the low because at that time there was news reports of teenagers going missing. MySpace. So, you know how our parents be.
Yeah. I already like, what is this? My parents.
I'm just like on.
Remember when we was on MySpace?
On the school laptops that I would bring home, I'd make a MySpace account.
Look, man.
And I have my top 5. I would do the HTML. Have the blinging background, that dynamic background, and then the music that would play. I'd be like, all right, what?
And be waiting for the bulletin to pop up.
I'm feeling young Jeezy. I'm feeling like young Jeezy this week.
I had some Jeezy.
If you want to wait for something, what's popping on the weekend, you gotta look at that bulletin. If you wait for your favorite person to wait, see if they online now. The little green and the orange.
Like, well, you see that?
She online? She online?
You was talking to got you in her top 8.
Listen, the conversation is good when you go to the inbox and it says read the RE, but like read the whole thing. The conversation good.
We really been chopping it up.
Thank God that top 8s don't exist anymore, or top 5s.
Because
folks would be having some folks would be canceling friendships. If on Twitter you had a top 5. On Instagram, you had a top 5.
That's see how you knew that you and Shorty wasn't really compatible like that.
He wasn't in that top 5.
She had everybody on you.
Yo.
Hey, keep it a buck. You ever Shorty who she didn't have you in your top 5 and you low-key was like, hey, what's up with that?
Yo.
And she was like, or
she would expand it. She would go from top 8 to top 12.
Right.
And you still wasn't on the
And you
list.
still wasn't on the list.
Just so people wouldn't know what's going on in your business. It's like, I don't know. If you know it's real.
Who's shorty in your top 5? Like, that's my own.
Right.
Why am I not in your top 5? You know?
Why you pressing me?
Am I in your top 5?
Right.
No,
You pressing me? Yeah, you fall back. Go fall back.
And then try to switch the subject. Man, hey, babe, what you doing? what you doing? What you doing
MySpace had us fooling.
Hey, come back to me later. I'm about to eat dinner, but I'm gonna come back like 1
Bro.
o'clock in the morning.
So I was with my cousins at this time when I went from MySpace to Facebook, and it was something that I always, I would always shoot my shot in the DMs from MySpace, send that message. And when I started transitioning to Facebook, I treated it the same way. Lord have mercy. I remember one time I was in the office on the computer. I just, I had a generic. This was back in my skirt racing days. I had a generic message that I would tweak a little bit and just send to random females, when I friend them, random woman. There's one time in the office I sent this to her, some shorty. And the response she sent me, the response she sent me ultimately is the reason why I stopped DMing people.
She clowned you.
She came with such fire and brimstone. Talk about, first of all, I don't know you like that to be talking to you like this. Second of all, this isn't my space. And in my heart, I was like, right, this isn't my space. I was like, ooh. All right.
Honestly, so the evolution, if you follow the evolution, Black Planet to MySpace to Facebook.
Where was AIM though?
MySpace.
AIM was in there.
AIM. Well, so AIM.
Well, I'll be honest. AIM, I was a hoe.
connected to
I'm not even gonna lie
MySpace.
to you.
AIM was on thing.
AIM was connected to MySpace though. Like you knew. Listen. If
The
you get
ratchet
that
was on AIM. Like when you hear
bro,
that thing,
I
you got
was
a
really on
sidekick.
AIM.
AIM.
You went from,
When you had that sidekick.
Listen.
that sidekick go hard. I need that sidekick.
I need it back.
I forgot that I still had my AIM handle on my Facebook. I was cleaning up my Facebook the other day and I saw it on there and I said, "Oh,
Delete.
what is this?
What's your answer, huh?
Oh, I mean, so you knew things was real when you got that AIM name, that AIM screen name. And okay, we're gonna talk. We gonna get some real chatter.
AIM
You
was
ain't
like-
gotta see 1,001 REs.
Yeah, see what you did from MySpace. You were like, all right, let me dip my toe in, right? Just
AIM was the
check
next
the
level.
temperature. And then AIM was like, hey,
In
so,
there.
what's
We in
good?
there. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts.
AIM
Like,
was really a problem. Hey,
AIM was
I need to
a
know
whole problem.
3 letters.
That being
ASL.
said,
Ooh.
I avoided
That
the AIM
dial-up.
too. I stayed out of that. I didn't. I
Bro,
kept my,
it was all so here's the thing though. So Black Planet to MySpace. I still remember how I hopped on MySpace. This was when Tom first converted MySpace from just a little web storage website to now like a social media platform. This was in 03. And I
that
remember
one friend that was always online. Tom,
was
I'm like,
crazy.
Tom,
Here's how I
bro,
found
what
out
are you
about it.
doing looking like that?
I found out about it at church camp, my first church camp, and the homie was like, "Hey man, you heard about MySpace?" I was like, "MySpace? What are you talking about? We out here on Black Planet." So he said, "Nah, bro, listen, MySpace is about to be the next thing. Hop on it now." And I was like, "Whatever, dude." I got home from church camp a few days later, hopped on MySpace, set up my profile, all of that. Wasn't nobody on MySpace. Just had a couple friends. Nobody was really on it like that. And then my parents, Abe, you know it, they found my profile one day as I was on it. Was trying to be sneaky. They made me delete it. They watched me get the confirmation email and hit delete on. They wanted to make sure the process was thorough. So all right, I guess on MySpace for a minute.
that's why I made like 3
A few
accounts.
months go by, MySpace is blowing up. A friend hit me up. "Hey man, you got a MySpace?" "Nah, man, my parents made me delete it." "Hey bro, here's what I'll do. Send me your information. I'll set it up for you."
You did
And
have
I'll
those
put the
people that like hook you up on the low, like, hey, let me hook you up on
Bro,
the side
he had
profile.
the little HTML in there and all of that stuff. Mine was popping, bro. Mine was popping. I
Early
was
web
the
coders
black
back in the day.
Eskimo, bro. Oh, we was in there. We was in. But here's the problem. MySpace eventually turned into what Black Planet was.
Yeah.
So when folks try to make the move to Facebook, I made the move to Facebook when it first left Harvard and was college wide.
Yeah.
and folks was still trying to talk on Facebook like it was MySpace, like it was Black Planet, and we was looking silly, and you got like Abe did. Now I realize we sophisticated now. Okay, we in college. We in college.
Moved up, man.
You know, I don't slide in DMs like that. You know, I'm a man of respect and innocence and saintliness and purity. That's me right now.
So you know what, kids these days, they need a history lesson on the forefathers of social media. Okay,
no.
When Tom was a celebrity, okay,
with that side profile,
that creepy side profile for Tom. Tom was that dude, man. Okay, Tom was that dude.
Never changed the picture. It was always that.
Tom.
They like looking at your friends and be like, yeah, well, there goes Tom. Who else?
There goes Tom. You know what's up when
that's
Tom,
how you know you was on MySpace too late and there was nobody on. You gauge it by how many people was next to Tom's friend list. It was like, all right, who's on? Is my shorty on here? All right, okay, Tom.
Nah, just Tom.
Right.
I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta bounce. I gotta
dip. Hey, no worries.
You know, after we got Facebook, then we got Instagram and Twitter, and that's when the DM divings went back.
That came.
DM turned to a whole full-time job. Like,
well, actually,
we reverted back.
It was Snapchat first.
No, it was Instagram.
It was Instagram.
Well, Twitter had been around for a minute, but Twitter really popped, I think, when the Instagram blow up happened.
Yeah.
Then Snapchat came after Instagram, and that's when. Oh, and don't forget we had Vine in the middle, but
Vine was
skip Vine.
When it came to DM diving.
Oh yeah, so it was Twitter. I think set the precedent. Twitter set the precedent, and then Instagram is Snapchat, or as I like to call it, Snaptrap.
Snapchat's in the back burner now because everybody jocked like they whole stige, and now they in the back looking pissed too.
Oh,
you looking at Instagram like, oh, you gonna steal my stories? You gonna just steal my?
You gonna make them cool? Facebook, you gonna steal my stories?
Right.
I deleted my Snapchat about a month or two ago.
Listen,
I really don't use it.
The Bible app has stories now.
Word?
Yo, I peeped that. Yes, it does. It does.
Every morning, bro. I be reading the stories on the Bible app. Hey, it's popping. See,
you read the stories?
Do yourself a favor, man. They started that
he said he reads the story.
It's been going on like that for 2 months now.
They give you a scripture of the day. They have someone do like a 2-minute video around that scripture.
What do you see? A person just praying like in the altar?
Bro,
I don't
know. This morning, bro, it was Kirk Franklin.
Stop it.
I promise you today. Go check it afterward, after we finish recording. Kirk Franklin, bro. It was Kirk Franklin, okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Kirk Franklin was in there. And then after that, they give you a snippet from a devotional that's already in the Bible app. Then they give you the next story is a graphic around the what do you call it? For that actual scripture that you can post. And then a prayer you can pray. And it's a wrap.
Wow.
They got you, bro. They're taking care of it. Listen, Bible app got stories.
That's crazy.
We evolving out here. We have come a long way, folks, from Black Planet. But Black Planet is trying to revive itself. The Black Planet revival is here.
They trying to keep up. I see them. I peep the motivation. I see it. We'll see what happens.
Let them clean it up a bit more.
You already been on
and
it?
I'll see what's good with it. No, I haven't myself. I've just used Twitter as my review board. And when they clean up some of the glitches and mechanics, I'll pay it a visit. I'll go see whether Black Planet 2.0 is popping like that.
We'll see.
Again, I don't DM dive. All right, so
we do not listen. We do not condone DM diving.
Nah, don't be DMing people just for the willy nilly. Like,
folks, listen,
stay out of it.
Hey, yo, shout out to MySpace also for deleting all profiles that have been accessed since 2015 because I know all my multiple profiles are gone now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they did that.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
If you access your profile after 2015, I believe.
Oh, that's upsetting. Listen, as we were having this conversation, I was like, man, let me go back and access my profile. It's been a while. I want to see how long I've come from. Nope.
My profile.
Okay.
Nah, don't ask my profile.
Listen, folks, don't DM dive. Tom didn't sell MySpace for all that. Okay.
I ended up DM diving on a former classmate's cousin that we all went to school together.
Wow, that sound
Bro, that's
reckless,
already a
bro.
recipe for disaster.
Hold on,
disaster.
man.
But this was like a year or two after I graduated elementary school, so I'm in high school. So then, I'm DM'd out, and I'm like, yo, I'm talking to the show. I'm like, yo, we vibing. Like, we got a lot of re. And then it finally dawned on me, like, yo, this person familiar. Who is? Oh, snap. That is the older cousin of a classmate, was about a year or two older than me. Oh, wow. This is all right then.
Oh,
This actually happened on the same day that I got flamed by the Facebook shorty.
Wow.
Apparently, I was talking to friends, family members out here. I just didn't put two and two together. So I don't.
But hey, check it though. So now we're in a world though with Facebook and Instagram where you can see mutuals. Who are your mutual friends? So that can all be avoided now, Abe. There is no like this person.
You gotta read the room.
You got to read the room. Listen, know who the mutuals are. Social media is crazy. How unsocial social media has made us, except for those of us who were on there.
We weren't mutual friends even then. Like me and her little cousin, because this was a couple years after elementary school. So I didn't have my MySpace in elementary school like some other people had. I made mine in high school. So seeing that, I'm just like, it just randomly dawned on me, and I was just like, "Oh, this is awkward. I don't like this."
So you didn't read the room; you was just in the same room.
Yeah, I was in the same room. Then I went to Facebook, got flamed, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with social media for the day. I'm done with Facebook and MySpace for the day. It was back to back. I'm like, it's a
long way, a mighty long
way. He was out there. Well, we here, and all we got now is. Well, not all what we got, but for some people, it's just Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Now, Facebook is for older folks, apparently.
Yeah, now
Nah, Facebook has become dry. Instagram is like
everybody shares stuff. Like, there's no original post.
Dry too. Yeah,
Twitter's
it's the same thing. Yeah, Twitter is just that raw, up to date reaction. Especially like
Twitter is why I don't watch news. Like, I get it before the news hits it. So, or I get the news before the news stations air it. So it's like, what's the point?
And before people delete their tweets after they say some hot.
Shout out to the people that be reposting deleted tweets.
You listen. You're the MVPs. You are the MVP.
Look,
you keep us in the loop.
Y'all keep data for real. Y'all keep the receipts. Y'all the true people who keep the receipts for real. You know
literally, you're like my mom. Who keeps all the receipts when she goes to the grocery store. You keep all the receipts so we know, so we can get them coupons, so we can get them refunds, okay, on what's going down.
Be like, oh, was this you? Be like, I don't know, my account is blocked. Be like, oh, before you block your account.
Before that. Before
Bobby, I already took these screenshots for you, homie.
Hey,
before the block.
This you?
This you, bro? Listen.
Yo, ridiculous. Twitter's
I love
Twitter
it.
is the most entertaining social media right now.
So I know Abe, you said Black Planet. As soon as they fix some things, you in there.
I'm gonna test it. See what it's talking about.
So you test the waters. What do y'all see as the future of social media being? Because we're seeing some of the top platforms right now. Facebook and Instagram are one and the same. Really,
Zuckerberg keeps buying out people, so it's gonna look like everything is gonna be like the same, and eventually people is gonna get used to it and be like, hold up, this is just like this. So why do I need this? Because Instagram took away from Snapchat. Then Facebook bought Instagram. So now it's like one and the same. So now Snapchat, and fun fact, Snapchat was founded by like two college dudes.
Well, even before that, didn't Instagram kill Vine?
Yes.
So Instagram killed Vine and stole Snapchat's flow. Then Facebook bought bought Instagram.
So pretty much Facebook was lurking behind the scenes, like, while you taking everybody else's, I'ma just
Zuck was lurking.
Twitter is out here trying to do what they can do to stay relevant, and honestly, they are doing a good job because of how raw up to date.
Yeah, it'll never die. Then you got TikTok, who's about to die. So that's just for security purposes.
TikTok is dying basically because, in my opinion, because of those ignorant people who have such a platform and are capitalizing off of TikTok. They are overflooding the platform.
TikTok is gonna be like Vine.
Already is.
Yeah.
We just waiting for who's gonna buy it and kill it. But let's not forget though, okay? The one that has survived the longest and that is still here, even after all the dust, is Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter's been around the longest. So there's something to be said there about the
And they still don't got no dang edit button.
Bro.
Hey, they already told us wear masks.
True.
They-
Yo, they released a tweet that was the smoke
Vicious.
on that.
Bang bang.
You want to edit button?
Chitty,
Wear a
chitty.
mask. That
let's be
was
real. How much people pay attention to Twitter? You know, when the over the weekend of July 4th, when they have the Nathan's hot dog eating championship.
Oh yeah, Joey Chestnut
I'll never
record.
watch that ever again.
You know,
That thing
before
nasty as hell.
that, but yeah, I can't really sit there and
Oh my
watch someone.
God.
Just,
I can't watch them shoving them
not.
hot dogs in their mouth and
Pause.
drinking
But-
water after it. And
it was hilarious because a few days before that, you know, on Twitter, everybody was talking about glizzy this, glizzy that to talk about Franks and whatnot. But during that competition, one of the announcers were like, and the glizzy gladiator is. It's like
Glizzy
some
Gladiator. Yo.
Yeah, they pay attention to Twitter heavy. They
listen,
pay attention.
I don't have a Twitter, and I've said I would not ever get one. But the one thing I enjoy, just perusing and lurking around on Twitter, is watching some of these threads when people be telling these long stories.
First of all,
I
Arnie, you
mean-
need to understand this. He doesn't have a Twitter yet. He is looking at Twitter. Like this man
Listen,
is
I'm window shopping Twitter, okay?
Like-
I don't know. Listen, I
Mad
don't
window
have-
shopping, bro. Like
listen,
he got his face
I
against the
don't
window
have-
like
I know myself. I don't have the margin in my life to add Twitter. Okay.
Ooh, what kind you talking about?
It'd be so crazy when Osahan shares links and they're from Twitter, and I'm like, but
Like, how did you get here?
How you seeing this? And I haven't even seen this yet. And I was on Twitter this morning.
Wait,
Like,
we'll
what's going
post something. We'll post something and he'll be like, yup, I seen that.
Yeah, I already
How?
Listen,
on? What is going on?
I'm the dude who got all the exclusives with no bots and no plug.
I'm convinced burger just don't want to.
I don't even have a burner. That's the crazy. I thought about getting a burner, but I don't even have a burner.
Nah,
I
because
just,
people gonna be trying to sniff you out. Be
people
like,
would
"Who
try
is-"
to find me out, and I ain't got time.
Like, oh, that's not like Osahan. That must be him.
Right. Why you type like that?
What is that? I recognize that I recognize those 280 characters anywhere. What's up here? Yeah, folks be having some stories on Twitter.
Wait a
Bust
minute. Did
over.
he say 3 things? That's also
The 3 things. He said 3 things. I know that. I know that
Are these
type
the
of
3 things?
arrangement and organization.
Did he say
That's
here's
you,
what
ain't
I
it?
want to say, folks? Yeah, that's it.
Listen, hey, and listen, and the way they be exposing folks with these burner accounts and finding them out, can't see that's a whole nother flame under the cancel culture fire. Okay, some of these folks who are getting exposed for posting wild out of bounds things, the things that they can't say is their normal self, right? So you create a burner account, you will be found out. You will be found out. So that's why I don't even have a burner. I don't need people exposifying stuff. Not that I'd say anything crazy. I just don't want to be found.
Quickness they come at you when they realize that it's a burner.
Oh man, it is.
They're like African parents where they just need a whiff, and they'll run with it.
That's all they need. A quick whiff. That's all it. Like vultures to the prey.
New music. Which actually, there's a lot coming out. A lot has been out. But there's a battle. I kind of want to end here. The battle that people was like, kind of like, we don't know. Snoop Dogg might take it, Snoop Dogg got that catalog, you know what I'm saying? And then you got DMX. By the way, the graphic was fire. I love what they did with that graphic. It was pretty fly. DMX versus Snoop Dogg. Of course, we'll give our review when it's over. By the time by the time it gets done, that'll probably be like next Tuesday, or this upcoming Tuesday. But by the time you hear this, obviously the battle has already been completed. But nonetheless, we still gonna give our critique, our review, our say so about these two amazing legends. You know what I'm saying? How y'all feel? How y'all feel about this battle? How y'all feel about these two artists? What's in your brain?
X, I need you to win this. Just stick to flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, and the I just need him to stick to his first two albums. That's it. And maybe dip into, and then there was X. Maybe dip into that one, but stick to the first two, which are undeniable classics, which you did drop the same year. You put out, did what Future does now, except the quality is 20 times better than what Future does. Shout out to Future, by the way. I still rock with you. Need X to win it, just cause. I do feel that he is probably going to lose out for two reasons: the favoritism towards Snoop, and also if he decides to go on his rant.
Yeah.
We talk about people who need help. DMX is another one who needs help. I mean, my man's been in and out of trouble for a while. Like, he needs help too. But
Lord, give me a sign.
He got hits.
if he plays his Christmas song, I'm out.
Hey,
I
that
am
might be
out.
a point. I'm just playing. Ain't no point. I'm just.
I've turned it off.
I think, like the majority of these versus battles, it all comes down to timing. You playing what track when, okay? Because even though Snoop got that catalog, okay, if X plays the right song when and staggers them correctly, he could give D-O-double-G a run for his M-O-N-E-Y. So,
But that conversation, I think, is only true for battles like Fab and Jada. This one is more. It don't matter. I don't think it matters the timing of the track. Snoop's catalog is just that deep. Like, you could play whatever.
I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say it's because
deeper, it's deeper than
know.
Jada and Fab.
Yeah, undeniably so. But
Yeah.
these are two distinct different personalities.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about it, X plays a song like Damien. Damien is like a mentally dark song. What is Snoop going to put up against that? I mean, that's a good number. A good number of the X's songs, his catalogs are more of that dark type place of. I mean, Damien and I love the Almond. Those are two of my favorite songs. I just love the whole vibe, the whole storytelling. What can Snoop put up that stands a chance against that? Whatever song he puts up is on a whole different vibe. So it depends on what your vibe is. What you feeling?
Number G thing.
That don't relate in any way to
We're not talking about
Damien
relating.
or
We're not talking about relating.
Almond.
We're just talking about point. Like, let's give a point.
Yeah,
Please
so
give it a point.
it'll come down to how do you feel when you hear the songs? Like, which one is going to make you be like, you know what, I want to go this route? Because I hear Damien, I don't care what Snoop plays, I'm going Damien. I'm going 10 times out of 10.
It depends on what Snoop shows up. Are we getting Uncle Snoop? We getting Snoop Lion? Are we getting gospel? Like, what Snoop are we getting?
I'm saying, and look, let me be clear. I want DMX to win. I do. But when it comes down to, you look at all the hits and all the areas he can go, whether he want to go to the streets, where you want to go to the ladies, where you talking about even grooving in the club, Snoop got hits for everything. So when it comes to as far as the timing of the track, and I'm still going back to timing, he can play a track well enough to where it still can get him a point no matter where, versus if you would look at a Fab battle or a Fab versus Jada battle or any other battle for that matter, where their catalog is, you got to be real precise to combat whatever, because the lanes that they cover was very limited. Snoop Dogg's lanes is literally everywhere. Like, he can go wherever you want and take you wherever you want, no matter what you play. Like, no matter
He's
what you
finna play
play.
something from that reggae album. I'm gonna slap the hell out of him.
I'm telling you, what
Dude got
Snoop is
gospel
going to show up
records.
because you play any Snoop Lion stuff,
I'm
you're
out.
losing. That's
I'm
L.
out.
He got gospel
So
records, you know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at
nothing
Dark
is
and
beating.
Hell is Hot and Rough Riders Anthem. Classic. Get at me, dog. I like that song. Of course, you have Damien. Those are
Okay, Rough Riders Anthem versus Gin and Juice.
I'm going Rough Riders Anthem.
I'm going Rough Riders album, bro. Anthem, bro. I'll take a Rough Riders anthem on that, boy.
Take it back.
Okay, DMX Christmas song versus Sexual Eruption.
Look, I just told you I'm turning it off if he plays the Christmas song. I'm turning it off. I'm walking away.
Like,
Walking all the way. I'm moonwalking away. Okay. Sea walking away.
still a
Yo,
thing.
you
Drop it
look
like
at
it's hot.
Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Half that album he can do by itself. You have My Niggas. You have we don't give a with Kiss and Styles P. You got Coming From with Mary J. Blige. You got, of course, The Almond with Marilyn Manson. You got Slippin'. You got Blackout with Jay-Z and the Locks.
Bro, that's heavy.
Like,
That's a lot of weight there.
like just off the 2 albums, you know?
A lot
Off
of
the 2
weight.
I think.
And if you wanna go to- and then there was X. No, we're
Forget who
not.
Snoop
We're
Dogg
not.
is. I think Snoop Dogg forgets who Snoop Dogg is.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
look,
the problem.
you mentioned his versatility and whatnot. That is both a blessing and a curse.
Curse.
Because if he drops any Snoop line, he's losing those rounds.
Automatic L.
DMX would have to blatantly throw that round away for a Snoop Lion song to win.
DMX would have to play some unreleased stuff that we're like, nah, that ain't it, Chief.
Yeah,
Like,
be like, whoa, like, you know, stuff after 2000 is like, you know what, X, your first 3 albums were great. Everything else was mid. So as long as he avoids everything post 2000, like post Great Depression on, fine. But I can see Snoop. First of all, we got to know what's Snoop's mental state of mind when he's
what
doing it.
Snoop are we getting?
Because depending on his mental state of mind, that's dependent. You know what? He might feel like, yeah, I'm gonna go gospel on you.
But well, mind
Is
you,
that
they
winning
picked this,
against X?
they picked the list before they even step in front of a camera, so it don't matter what he's feeling like that day. The list
Oh,
is
it
there.
does. It matters what he was feeling when he made that list.
That too.
True.
What
Was he
Snoop
getting ready
are
for
we
what he
getting?
felt?
But he got Dre in his corner. I don't care what
Eh?
nobody say. Oh, look, y'all need to put some
Dre's
respect
not
on
the
these
one
people,
picking
man.
the song.
Dre, yeah, Dre.
But
Dre got to listen to.
Listen, I think you mistake our skepticism for doubt. And that we don't doubt that Snoop could pull it out, that Snoop could be the one to do it.
It could end up being a blatant
A blowout, a landslide.
by Snoop, and I wouldn't be surprised.
It could end up being 17-3, okay? But it depends on what Snoop we're getting.
Snoop can easily, basically,
13-7.
more so or less, this is Snoop's battle to lose.
Bingo.
oh yeah,
There it
okay,
is.
we can agree on
This
that.
is
Okay.
battle to lose.
It is battle to lose. I got
can agree on
13-7 Snoop Dogg going in.
I'm bet he got 13-7.
13-7. Maybe 14-6.
Oh, wow.
You know, that's just me.
Oh,
That's
wow.
just,
I got 11-9
that's
either
just-
way.
Yeah. So
I got 11-9 either way.
I can see that.
so
If X were to win, it'd be tight like that for sure.
Very tight.
It'd be tight.
Tighter than Snoop's braids.
Because if he were to blow out Snoop, I'd be like, all right, we got Snoop Lion. That's why we got all the Snoop Lion. That's it. That's it.
we'll see.
Snoop Lion.
Well, that battle gonna be good. We'll look back and see what played out, what's what, how well did Snoop Dogg beat DMX. But until then,
Look at the
and-
bias. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that bias.
I have faint hope for DMX. I want DMX
Wow,
to
you
win. I
gotta
do.
look at
I
how
want him to
bad-
win.
Snoop beat DMX. That was your
Disrespect.
statement. That's your closing statement.
I
That's
want
a
no.
closing
My
statement.
closing statement is I
That's
want him to
terrible.
win. But as far as out of logic, Snoop.
Wow, so we're illogical now. We are illogical now. Hey, that's what he just said. He just called us illogical.
No. Whatever. Okay. All right.
This man
I see
called
where
us
we're going.
illogical.
I see
God
how
bless you.
I see,
God bless you.
I see we need to do this.
I bet.
All right.
Say less. Say no more. Say no more.
So, anyways, new music. We'll probably get into more detail with new music that's dropped. That's going to be dropping. Of course, the Light Pack already dropped, but we'll save that. The Unknown by Jonathan Traylor. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Welcome
Donda.
back, Joey Badass, by the way.
Yes.
I'm glad he's back.
I did listen to that. I'll give my review you later. But Donda will be out. Donda's out, so make sure you guys listen to that. I'm really intrigued. I know we all seen the track list, so it's not like unfamiliar, but I'm just intrigued. I am intrigued. to see.
Don't go on social media that day, folks. Just listen to the album.
Yeah,
Unfiltered. Don't go on Twitter. Don't do none of it. Just listen to it a couple times. Listen to it 3 times through.
Yeah.
Before you let other people's opinions in the floor.
Yes, please do that.
Don't even
Please.
look at his tweets. Like, just
Don't look at his tweets, okay?
Just listen.
Don't look at any of his tweets after the album is released, okay? Because when Jesus King was coming out, it was post midnight. Folks was really up at midnight waiting for that album to drop. 3 a.m. waiting for that album to 3 a.m. Pacific time waiting for the album to drop while they were doing last minute mixing. Don't do nothing after that album drops.
Just have your homie text you like, "Yo, the album dropped." That's it.
It is. Have that one good friend in your circle, okay, who can text you and say, "Hey, the album dropped," and give so even if you ask them how is it, they don't give no tips of nothing. Just listen to it.
The only response is, "I'll wait for you to listen."
Yeah, I'll wait for you to listen.
If that is good, just listen. I don't know what that means. It means just listen. I don't know what you want from me. I'm about to block you.
Yeah,
right.
You're gonna get blocked. You're getting removed from my top 5.
Don't show me a track. Don't show me nothing. Just listen to.
You out the top 5 for that one.
Right.
Well, I expected the top 12, and I'm about to pick you out.
When I hear about the album, I'll post it on the bulletin.
That's it. Game Clouses.
On that note, yo, good pod. Shout out to you guys listening. Thank you guys again for watching on YouTube. If you're listening again on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, appreciate you guys. You guys are like family to us. Again. And most importantly, please donate to the link in our bio to the Neazer family. Rest in heaven, Big Mike. We sincerely love you. We truly miss you. For more episodes and just highlights of what's going on, including the workshop that's about to happen with a cool little theme, visit thecraftfactory.org for more information on everything that we do. Again, we appreciate you. We are signing out. This is episode 12. Have a good weekend. Happy Friday. We'll see you on Tuesday. Peace. We out. And deuces.
You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day.